Morning, Nicki.
Morning. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Can you give us an idea, Nicki? What was your? My emergency alerts are going off. What was your vantage point? Were you guys like on a balcony? Are there 3 fields you had to keep an eye on, and basically flood conditions?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, they have 3 fields, but they were mainly practicing on 2. And we're on a balcony. We had the option of going down to the field, and we went down for part of it. But it was a downpour, and it was harder to see down there. So yeah, we watched from a balcony up there.
We're getting all kinds of emergency flood warnings on
flood
our cell
or
phone.
Tornado warnings.
Yeah, my volume's off. My phone.
Must be a poop show out there. Be careful out there.
Tornado
everybody.
warning.
Oh, is that what it is? All right, be careful out there. What was the deal with that big tree in the middle of the?
I don't know. I don't know. It was like I don't know. It was like the tree of life in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
but I'm sure like every coach uses that for like their team speech or something. I don't know.
It was kind of I kind of hated it at first, and then I kind of liked it. It was like character.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Quaint.
I don't know.
Sometimes you need some
I
shade.
wish we could have stood under it. It would have been so much better.
Right.
You know, we would have had a great view, and yeah.
All right, so talk me off the ledge. I'm the biggest Skins/Commanders fan here. Like I'm not panicking. It's a stupid controlled scrimmage. Last year, I think everybody thought we did great against the Ravens, and then we won 4 games. So I don't think it really means much. But it didn't seem like it was a great day sort of overall for the guys. I know the offensive line had some injury issues, so maybe 3/5 of the offensive line wasn't there. We know the secondary struggled. I don't know. Just kind of give us your overall sense of it.
Yeah, I don't think it showed anything that we didn't already know about this team. Like they have a lot of new pieces, obviously, a lot of talented pieces. I thought Jaden looked good, like with what he had to work with. The line did get worked pretty well, but they were also with Andrew Wiley on the right side, Brandon Coleman on the left side. I mean, they were working in Mason Brooks at left tackle, and he's a guard through and through. Chris Paul was working at tackle. The kid they just signed, Alex Taylor, who goes by Armani Taylor, I mean, he was working. He was just signed a day ago. So, I mean, they're really, I hate saying, not screaming, they were working the bottom of the depth chart on just trying to fill that line right now. And I got to think they're going to try to bring in somebody else at tackle just to get them through camp. And the fact that Brandon Coleman and Wiley have not practiced the last few days, I think it'd be hard pressed to see him in the game on Saturday. So yeah, the line was, they got worked. So it made the whole offense a struggle.
Right.
The defense seemed to struggle at first. Forbes got beat a few times, but it was Garrett Wilson. I mean, who has Garrett Wilson not beat? I think with Forbes, it showed a lot of the same things that we did see in the Ravens joint practice last year too. The secondary can look really good when you go against your own. You know kind of what's coming, but when you go against another team, it exposes some stuff. And I think there may be still some technique issues that Forbes has to work through. But that defense really came on in the second half. They played fast. I think Mike Sanderson is a baller. He is a stud. So I thought that was incredibly promising.
Pass rush, too, right? I heard that was good.
Yeah. No, they looked good on the pass rush. They played together. They played in sync, which is something that has been, frankly, missing over the last 3 years up front. And then special teams, again, nothing we didn't know. They need a kicker. Both guys missed 2, if not 3 kicks. They're struggling from 45 yards and out. So, but again, nothing we didn't know.
So, Nicki, the video you have embedded on WashingtonPost.com, and you touched on Forbes getting beat by Garrett Wilson on the short touchdown pass, it triggered me back to him struggling to handle A.J. Brown in the regular season last year. I'm just guessing that this coaching staff, they're not going to put him in scenarios where he's going one-on-one with the other team's top wideout. Is that just how this worked for this joint practice? Do you know, what sort of help they're planning on giving him if that's the case going forward?
Yeah, and I will say he wasn't the only one that got beat. I mean, Benjamin St. Juste got beat too. Again, it is Garrett Wilson, but yeah, I think they've seen enough of him to know, and this is the point of the joint practice too, is to kind of figure out how everybody fits against different people. I mean, I think the fan base maybe knows more about Emmanuel Forbes than maybe this coaching staff does at this point, just because we've seen more. but this was a big point of it is to kind of strip these matchups to see who can handle what, who fits better where, and maybe they got a better glimpse of that. I mean, I do think Emmanuel Forbes can be a good corner. I just think he needs to work on stuff. Like, you watch some of the videos and he's flat-footed from the step, like from the first step.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Garrett Wilson is beating him straight from the release. I mean, he is flat-footed.
And I also saw, I noticed in the one where Wilson beat him deep, like, he didn't even get his hands on Wilson, like, on his release off the line. Now, he's obviously not the biggest guy. Even if he did get his hands on him, Wilson might run right through it, but it didn't look like he was providing any resistance, like, in a spot like that.
Right. And the other thing that, like, keep in mind with some of these practices, too, is they're still not going full go.
Right.
So a lot of these times where it looks like guys get beat, they're letting up because that's what they're instructed to do. They're not supposed to go full completely and just crush these guys. Now, I don't think Emmanuel Forbes would have crushed anybody anyway, but, you know, where it looks like guys, I guess, sometimes quit on plays or look like they're, you know, just getting flat out beat, they're doing what they're instructed to do sometimes.
Do you have any sense? I know that whenever we have Keim on, he always says he has to be cautious about, like, sort of evaluating the running backs in practice. You don't know what to make of it. Do you have any sense of sort of the usage, how it's going to play out with Eckler and Robinson? Are they truly going to be, like, splitting the time there? Is one guy going to emerge? I mean, if Eckler plays like he did a couple years ago, I think they'd want to give him the ball as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could take that approach, sort of the hot hand approach. I mean, they listed them as co-starters on this unofficial depth chart, which I think those things are silly, frankly. They're just league mandated. But I think a lot of the stuff with the running backs, the true starter, the true lead can be misleading at first because it's all based on the opening script or the package to start the game. Like, it doesn't mean they're going to take the most reps in the game necessarily. I would think if a guy gets going and looks really strong in a game, you just leave him in there until he's not really strong, you know? But the thing I really like about this group is they complement each other so well. I mean, they're completely different. I mean, B-Rob is more of a power downhill guy, and Eckler is so shifty and quick. And to have two really good running backs that can do, like, that can basically check the box on every skill you would want in a running back is a good thing to have. And I know they do really, really like B-Rob.
Talking to Nicki Jhabvala, covers the Commanders, the Washington Post. Back to Jaden Daniels. So kind of fill us in because we read things on Twitter, but what kind of passes was he making? I saw that somebody kind of minimized his passes as they were checkdowns to Austin Eckler or whatever. What did you see from Jaden? Because you said he played pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember he's about to get killed on every play.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's going to throw a check down here and there when a free rusher is coming down the middle of the line. But, yeah, he had a mixed bag, I think. I mean, he had a really nice crosser to Zach Ertz, which I think was on tape, right? It was on, like, one of the highlights that the Jets posted. So he looks strong with Zach Ertz. I think the report there is really strong. I mean, he had a lot of deep completions too. Bryson Tremaine is really coming on, which if he can be a legit receiver, that would be huge because he's a bigger guy. But he had a couple beautiful passes down the line, like some back shoulder passes that were right on the money. He did have some checkdowns, but again, you know, they want to see that too.
That's
they want to
fine,
see that they want to see that he's making the right decisions. I thought his decision making out there was great. And that, again, is something that we haven't seen a lot of in recent years. Like, you get young quarterbacks in, they can throw the ball, but do they make the right decisions in the right time? And I think that's honestly Jaden's forte. Is yes, he can run. Like, I mean, he's an incredible runner. We know that. He's an even better passer. We know that. But can he make all the right decisions when he's staring down a rush? And so far, he's looked really good there.
Do you think this is an argument we were having the other day, and it's kind of silly, I guess, because, you know, what'll happen, but we're kind of arguing, like, how many designed runs are going to have this guy, and I know he's a freak talent, but I feel like like he'll run when he needs to run, but are they really
Right.
going to design 5-6 runs a game for him to just get pounded? I mean, that's like the number one concern with the kid.
Right. You don't want him taking excessive hits. I think people see a like a quarterback that can run and mistake him for a running quarterback. That is not what Jaden Daniels is. Jaden Daniels is a really, really good pocket passer who happens to be able to run really well.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not a running first quarterback. He's a great passer. And I think you can see it out there that they want to take advantage of that. I mean, he does run on some plays, usually to escape the rush. And I could see some design runs. I think they'd be foolish to not take advantage of that skill set he has. But he's a pocket passer first. And
right.
A really good one at that.
Right, I agree with that sentiment. I haven't seen him in person. Does his arm strength jump out at you? Like, how does it relate to the other guys?
Oh yeah. I mean, it looks easy for him. And I think the thing that's really fun to watch with him is, I mean, he just throws a beautiful ball. It's like that perfect spiral. He makes it look easy, and it's always right on the money. It doesn't mean that every now and then a throw is overthrown, but again, is that him? Is that the receiver? Sometimes it's him, sometimes it's not. But usually it's right on the money. When he wants to hit a guy on his back shoulder, he nails it.
Right. That's good.
Who's in the lead right now for the number 3 wideout spot? Because it's becoming pretty crowded in there after McLaurin and Jahan Dotson at the 2 spot.
Yeah, good question. I'm honest. I mean, I think Luke McCaffrey makes a roster. Is he the true number 3? I don't know. I think he makes a roster, though. I think Olamide Zaccheaus is good. I mean, he's a veteran guy. He knows what he's doing out there. He's had a really good camp. I think Bryson Tremaine is certainly making a case for a roster spot. Diami's having a good camp, which he needs to. So, yeah, it is crowded. I don't know if there's a clear 3 yet. I think Zaccheaus and Luke will definitely make the roster. But,
Well, I mean, if Luke didn't make the roster as a 3rd-round pick, I mean, I might have to jump off my
That's a big
house.
whiff.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a Ron
he's
Rivera
making the
level whiff,
roster.
if that were the case.
Yeah.
Okay, I need the Jamin update. I was so excited when they signed Quinn because I thought, okay, they're gonna see the physical attributes and they're gonna try to make a poor man's Micah Parsons, and I think that's actually what they're trying to do. But all the reports are it ain't going great. What did he do anything yesterday? Can you give me anything positive on Jamin?
Yeah, I mean, they are trying to move him to the edge, and he is playing almost exclusively out there. I don't think he was ever meant to be an NFL Mike. That is a hard position to play. There's a lot on that position. And to come in as a rookie, I don't care who you are, that is tough. So I think he was always supposed to be more of an edge, and it's taken him 4 years to finally get that chance. And so, frankly, to me, he looks more like a rookie out there, and that's tough when you're in the last year of your deal. I know he's been working a ton with Ryan Kerrigan. I don't think you're seeing sort of the flash plays that everybody kind of hoped to really feel like, oh, yeah, this dude could be a stud pass rusher out here. Like, I mean, because you're right, he is an athletic freak. That's largely why they drafted him in the first round, which, of course, in hindsight, looks to be a massive reach at this point. But now they have depth at that position. They have competition at that position. Can he really find his way onto the roster? And they have guys that can play multiple spots. So, in my mind, he's competing with not just linebackers, but the ends and the safeties for a spot too, because they're moving guys all around in the box. So, yeah, I think he still needs to show more to really.
So he's definitely in jeopardy.
Oh yeah. I mean, he has been since the start of the offseason. No, there's nothing guaranteed for him, especially which was not unexpected that they declined his option. I mean, but yeah, I mean,
first
definitely.
round draft pick only makes 3 years. That ain't good.
He's in my favorite TV game show.
I mean,
Jeopardy.
How many have there been like that though in Washington in recent years?
Could be Forbes too. Before in a year.
I know.
The legacy of Ron. It just keeps on giving and giving.
I mean, listen, I know everyone says how nice he is. I hate that guy. I hate what he did to my team. So annoying.
Appreciate the time as always, Nicki.
All right. Thanks, guys.